Hey there, this is Lula LV. We're talking about Louis Vuitton's new show today, and this is hands down one of my all-time favorites. Louis Vuitton presented its Women's Spring-Summer 2023 collection designed by Nicholas Gesquiere today, October 4th at the Louvre. The runway was designed to evoke a circus attraction, an event that is, quote, both grandiose and completely vanishing at the same time, as they describe it. This concept was also portrayed by the giant flower blooming above the stage, created by artists Philippe Perregno and James Chinlund. The flower, as they describe it, quote, comes in the night and is completely gone in the morning. It's a representation of the elaborate runway shows that last for 15 minutes and then they're gone. The flower also plays with the element of proportions, which is the overarching theme of this spring-summer collection. Straight away from the first looks, we see bags that are giant versions of small accessories, such as the clochette and the luggage tag. So right away, I think this was the second look that came out. This is an oversized key clochette, and I love it because, so here you can see the back of it, and it looks like there's a zipper on the side, and the key attached is the zipper pull. So I absolutely love this, and they use the strap where you would normally attach the clochette to the bag as a handle. So this is super cool. Definitely a collector's piece. I absolutely love it. This piece showed up again and again in all the looks. In these photos here, we've seen it in vachetta, turquoise, and red. I believe it may have also showed up in a few other colors. There was also an oversized luggage tag, which we can see in this look here in black. Same sort of design where it's oversized and there's the handle. There was this version which possibly might make it into production as a collector's piece. So here you can see there are two straps that are attached from the inside, and it looks like there's a buckle that opens over the top, and it has all the same sort of vachetta coloring, the reddish glazing around the side, the yellow thread. That is exactly how the luggage tag is produced on bags. There's also this version here. Again, I don't think these are practical, but I think these are 100,000% collector's pieces, and I absolutely love them. I love how the proportions are played with and how they took these everyday small objects and magnified them and made them into bags. I think that is so creative and so cool. Another one that we saw was the key clay as a massive pouch. On the left, here it is in one of the looks in monogram, and then we have a huge reverse monogram on the side. These I just screenshotted directly from the runway show. I love how they also included the clip from the inside of the bag, and then they used it as almost like a handle you can see here in the runway look. And another one they blew up in size was the Coussin. This is so cool. And some of the bags that I think might make it into the production include the Dauphine. These are regular size bags, but they played with the proportions of the hardware and the closings on the bag. Here you can see how huge that clasp is, and it's normally much, much smaller on the Dauphine. They also did the same concept with the twist bag. Here is a version, and this came up in a few different colors again in the runway show, so I could see this going into production with this massively chunky chain, which is really popular on bags right now, and this huge oversized LV twist lock in the middle. This I think is a really cool look, and I love how they just took playing with proportions to the extreme. There's also this really fun interpretation of the petite malle in this bright turquoise color, which we saw a few SLGs come out in turquoise in fall winter. So I love that they're carrying that color through to the spring. I love how they use the vachetta strap with this piece as well. And there were also a few new bags. This one I believe is new. I haven't seen it. It's a reinterpretation of their S-lock closure. And again, it's taking that concept of taking a small piece of hardware or accessory from a bag and just massively blowing up the scale. This also showed up. I'm not a huge fan of it in red, but it showed up it looked like solid gold on the front and back. That showed up in the runway show, so it looked like an actual S-lock, and that I thought was fabulous. Another new bag that I think is probably the most exciting out of this collection is this new design. I saw it show up, as you can see here, in a couple different colors, and this almost reminds me of a cross between the Hermes Birkin Cargo and the Hermes Kelly Cellier. But I think we will definitely be seeing this bag show up in stores for spring, summer. It's obviously a very structured bag. It looks like it comes in some sort of calf leather. And I love that this is a new leather bag design by Louve Vuitton. And it shows that they're really going in the direction of leather for their high-end designs as opposed to canvas. Another new design we saw show up on the runway is this Dr. Bag style handbag. This showed up in a lot of different materials, like the woven patchwork one that we just saw, this one here in turquoise. It also showed up in monogram, I believe. So I think we will be seeing this bag show up in stores. It wasn't my all-time favorite style, but this is a new one that just showed up on the runway. And finally, we have this quirky little dollhouse bag, which I'm not really sure how this was connected to anything, but I thought I'd throw it in. If you have any insight, feel free to leave it below in the comments. And now that we've talked about the bags, let's look at some of the looks. And these, again, also played with proportion. And I love the look on the left, how they took the clasps that are usually on Louis Vuitton straps and put them on the straps of this dress. They have these massively oversized zippers and zipper pulls. I think these are really cool, not necessarily practical for daily use, but I think these are absolutely fabulous looks. These three looks, again, are the same concept, but these particular styles were actually my least favorite out of the show. It's nothing that really excited me too much. The proportions on the bottom of the dresses I thought were a little weird, the way the straps, I think, that are supposed to be at the bottom hung down, and like the lapel on the coat. These looks, again, played with proportions, but something about the proportions in these particular looks weren't my favorite. What I do think we may see show up in stores are looks like these three here, because they take the oversized proportions, but it's actually printed on the fabric on the clothing. It's not actual oversized hardware or belts like we saw in some of the earlier looks. So these I think we might see show up in stores. And these are my all-time favorite looks from the show. And the pictures don't even do them justice. The details and intricacy on these and the way they move when the models walked were absolutely gorgeous. I love how feminine and romantic they are. And I'm going to insert a clip of actually the middle look walking down the runway. And you can see the way the feathers, the beading, it looks like there's some sort of sequin under the feathers on the skirt. The way the light reflects is just so beautiful. And that's my take on Louis Vuitton's women's spring-summer 23 collection that they just showed in Paris, highlighting some of my favorite and least favorite looks from the show. There were a few other looks I didn't talk about in this video, but those were the highlights for me. Please comment below and let me know what you thought of the show, what you thought of the new bags, and how Nicholas Gesquiere played with the proportions. I thought it was fabulous, but I would really love to have a conversation with you in the comments below and let me know what you think as well. And that's what I have for today. If you liked this video, please do give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel and come back every Wednesday and Friday for new videos. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye now.